drugs has increased the crime rate to the extent that today people in the larger cities of our country especially themselves live in a state of siege. And this is a situation that cannot exist. We know that in totalitarian countries, such as Red China, where there are no individual freedoms, and countries like Afghanistan, for instance, they don't have any drug traffic. They don't have any drug users, because all the drug users have been taken out of existence by methods that we don't subscribe to in this country. So I believe that we in our free democratic system, still protecting the individual rights and liberties of our people, can still bring about the results that are brought about in other countries that have alleviated them of this traffic.
Now, what is the president guilty of? Well, he fired 3 people. I wouldn't have hired him in the first place. When you get a left-wing Harvard-type liberal in Richardson, turn around and hire a Kennedy Democrat in Cox to investigate the president, I think it was bad judgment to start with. And to say that Mr. Ruckelshaus is any great loss to this country is grossly overstating it. He filed up the EPA, and then he went on to bigger and better things. So my personal feeling is that he shouldn't have hired them in the first place. I'm glad they're gone. I just wish he'd done it at a different time and in a different way. But what is the crime involved here? What high crime and misdemeanor has been created or committed? It's certainly not a crime to fire somebody. It might be bad judgment, but fortunately that's not an impeachable offense, or none of us would be public service today. So what about the tapes then? Is he does he stand in defiance of the court, and is he in contempt of court? He is not. At the time that the clamor arose, his lawyers were in agreement with and in consultation with Judge Sirica and the prosecutor in Judge Sirica's court, as well as the counsel and the members of the Watergate Senate Special Investigating Committee. They had an agreement. It was for this reason that the president elected not to appeal the Fifth Circuit Court's ruling to the Supreme Court, because they had reached an agreement, all but Cox. This was reached with the knowledge, consent, and agreement of Elliot Richardson, the Attorney General of the United States, who later resigned. When the agreement fell apart due to Mr. Cox's resignation, the attorney for the president went into court, immediately agreed to abide by the court's ruling, literally and in fact and fully comply in every aspect with the court's decree as to the production of the tapes. This has been done and is being done today.
Well, I think that labor itself is more active than they've been in a long while. This is true nationally as well as in the states, and we have our problems with them, but we try to work out a lot of them. But there are other groups that have a tendency to take an anti-business attitude. Some of our environmentalist friends, and some of them are very sincere, and some of our consumer groups around the state, and some people who just do not understand maybe the free enterprise system, and perhaps this is our fault, that we should maybe speak more fluently on what our problems are and let the public and let these groups know. And I think that you're going to find that in the near future we're going to have more speaking out on the side of business than has been true in the past. We have environmentalists that just want to put a stall and a stop on everything. For instance, industrial development, some of them have the feeling that industrial development ought to be shut off entirely. This can't be. You either grow or you become stagnant. And along that line, I'd like to say that the Chamber has taken the attitude all along, and it's not new, but more emphasis is being placed on it at the present time, of trying to obtain industries, that is, kind of industries coming into Alabama, that will be less of a problem environmentally speaking. That is, so far as their effluent is concerned, smokestacks or whatever you might want to say about it.
Well, I certainly think that I should be given the proper consideration concerning renting equipment and what happened this morning, since there's been a lot said about it in the past concerning renting equipment. Of course, the law was passed this morning, and I'm certainly willing to live by this law. I was outvoted, but certainly that makes democracy, which is fine and well. But I feel like it will hurt and cripple my department at certain times. There have been, I have borrowed equipment many times from many different contractors when we get in a tight in case of emergency. In fact, I have about 4 pages here of various contractors who have loaned me equipment. For instance, particular one issue here, Capital Asphalt Company loaned us a roller when our roller broke down once, and we had 5 loads of asphalt on the job site, and of course they loaned me this roller, and of course I was able to save the 5 loads of asphalt, which would have run approximately $500. And I'd also like to say this, Norman, the good citizens of Montgomery have elected me as Public Works Commissioner, and I intend to continue to run a Public Works Division as long as I am the Commissioner, and with the knowledge and the consideration of my department head to administer the responsibilities of this division for the benefit of our city and its citizens, and I think it's only right and fair. But this would be an information session, a session on how to do it, what you should do.
Well, John, to be absolutely frank with you, the birthday solicitation was most successful. Did a great job for us. We were able to pay off a tremendous amount of the debts on that particular idea, so we thought the Christmas card idea would be good also. And it is a different concept than the birthday idea, of course. The Christmas card is returned to the creditors and suppliers. The individual can send these cards back, and we in turn will show the creditors and suppliers that these individuals that contributed not only to the campaign but to the purpose of seeing that the creditors and suppliers would have a Merry Christmas also. And these are people that have stuck with us for so long. They've been with us for over a year now, indebted to them, and been nice enough to carry that debt for us, so we thought this would be a good gesture, and to be frank with you, thought it would be a good idea. At the present time, we've been receiving the Christmas card returns for about 4 or 5 days now, and it looks very good, looks real good, and if it'll keep up at the rate that it is coming in at the present time, I think the debt will be paid off probably the first of the year. Immediately upon the time that this debt is paid off, then certainly we will let you know and everybody know, because we'll be extremely happy, and we want the people to know when the debt is paid off, so that contributions are received after that point are solicited, then certainly they'll know that they're coming for some other purpose than to pay off the debt.
And then, how much do you need to raise right now? How much is the campaign still in debt?
Well, this morning looks like around $72,000, which we feel that a substantial payment can be made on this $72,000. As a matter of fact, tomorrow is check writing day around here, so we will make a substantial payment against the $72,000.
With a group of about 500 teachers for our exceptional children today, but I'm glad to see all of you folks who represent the various communities that will receive the grants today, I believe totaling $367,000. We decided back in the beginning when the revenue sharing money came to Alabama that we were going to do what we could to help provide water in the rural areas of Alabama.
Will allow 8 projects to be constructed. I think I'd also like to point out here that in addition to the help provided by the state and by the federal government, that 6 of the county governing bodies are also participating in revenue sharing funds, which is good. Makes the money go a good bit further. But in addition to that, these people, all of these people in here, have raised $114,000 from their own pockets to help make this a reality. So this is quite a contribution. And these 8 projects will amount to about $3.5 million. As I said to start with, I think this is a good example of state, federal, and local governments working together to accomplish the common good. A lot of people here today would not recognize that you have put, counting today, better than $1 million in the development of water systems within this state. And I, for one, would like to say thank you for these people. Nowadays, take so many things for granted that we fail to recognize that a lot of it ain't possible today.
I frankly think that the passage of an ethics bill in Alabama is long overdue, and I think that this is something that all of us should be glad to see happen, because I think it's going to get some people out of government that should have never served in government in the first place. And anybody who's afraid to disclose their income and their sources of income in this state certainly should not be serving in any public office at any level. And anybody who's afraid to do this, in my opinion, will not seek office in 1974. And I think the end result here is going to be good. I think, frankly, that some of the amendments that were put on in the House, such as the one trying to include the press to maybe make it unconstitutional, was simply an effort to try to defeat the bill in the federal courts or in the court system. And I hope that the bill is upheld, and frankly, insofar as the press is concerned, I think that section will be held unconstitutional and perhaps go out of the bill. But the end result on the ethics bill is going to be good.